In today's edition of Issues and Insiders, we sit down with two of Seoul's honorary citizens for this year to learn about their contributions to the community here and more. Hello, it's Friday here in Seoul and you're watching Issues and Insiders. I'm Min Sun-hee. Today, I have a special pair of residents here whose efforts to promote a broader sense of well-being within the local community have recently earned them much applause from the Seoul Metropolitan Government. For this, I have Laura Costa here in the studio. Laura, it's a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure to be here too. Thank you.
I also have Rahil Amadova with us. Rahil, it's a pleasure as well.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Laura, we'll start with you. Let's begin then with a few words about your personal journey here to the country. When and why did you choose to come to Korea, and what has been keeping you here?
A lot has been keeping me here. So I'm Laura from Switzerland, and I'm originally an East Asian Studies major. So I was studying in China in 2008 when I met some lovely Korean friends who invited me to come over to Korea, impromptu basically on my way back to Switzerland, and she even let me stay at her place. So I was really touched by her kindness, and that was a very, very great impression of Korea. Then I came several times as a tourist in 2010, 2011, and I was like, maybe I could try and stay here for a few months. So let's see if I get, if I can love this country even more. So I came for summer school in 2013 to take some Korean classes at Yonsei KLI. And I really loved it. After 3 months, I couldn't get enough of the food, and so I decided I really have to stay here for a longer time. And so I came back for my master's degree. I decided to do a master's degree in international relations at Yonsei University. And that's also when I actually moved to Korea officially, so in 2015. So that's the student life. In 2017, I graduated. I interned at a Korea-based foreign startup, and then was lucky enough within a year to get employment at the Embassy of Switzerland here in Seoul. And I also got married in the meantime, so that's many things that kept me here in Seoul.
Right, I see, and we'll delve into your contributions, of course, in a bit. But then, Rahil, what about you? When and how did you land in Korea, and what's behind your extended stay here?
Well, it's been a long journey, actually, to tell about. By the way, I'm from Azerbaijan, I would like to mention. First time I came to Korea in 2008 as a Korean government scholarship student. It all started with a study journey. And then after finishing my bachelor degrees in Korea, South Korea, I went for my master's degree and I finished my studies. And after that, I started working for Korean companies and then for the Embassy of Azerbaijan as well. For a period of time, I worked there as well. And then I got married and I have a child. As you can see, my life has been like touching all the aspects of life in Korea. So it's like connecting together all the work and life and marriage, everything in Korea. I can say that it's all about Korea right now for me.
And we're very happy to have you here.
Thank
you
you.
have a lot of similarities, the two of you. Both of you, your academic studies, your studies brought you here. You both work for the embassy. You both got married here. And both of you won the Seoul Honorary Citizenship this year by the Metropolitan Government here. And for the sake of our viewers, Laura, who may not be familiar with this particular award, could you tell us a bit about it, including its relevance as well as its recipients?
Yes, let me give an interpretation, I guess. So it's a recognition. The Seoul Honorary Citizenship is a recognition given by the Seoul Metropolitan Government to state guests or foreign nationals who love Seoul and contributed to Seoul in some meaningful way, whether it's cultural, political, economical, technological, community-based. And so since they started in 1958, they have given Seoul Honorary Citizenship to about 913 foreign nationals from over 100 countries. So that's the statistics. Beyond that, I think personally why they do that, it's beyond the recognition of its acknowledgement of people who have done several important things here in Seoul. It's also to further encourage also more foreign nationals to get really actively involved in the life in Seoul and enhance the status of Seoul, but also the living kind of standards of the people here in the city.
Right. Right, good to know. Laura, so this year you are among 15 people who received this particular prize. From how many countries was it? About 13 countries?
Yes, exactly.
Right, I see. And now, Rahil, do tell us about the contributions to this community for which you were commended by the Seoul Metropolitan Government.
Yes, actually, this was one of the proudest moments of my life in Korea, I would say. For me, like working in Korea and living in Korea was very important because I was feeling that as I got this scholarship from Korean government and like getting help from Korean government, I felt that I want to give back to Korean society. And then I started volunteering for different kind of Korean government organizations. One of them is Ministry of Justice, and another one was Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. As a part of these organizations, I started working for foreign nationals, for multicultural families who have issues, difficulties in like integrating into Korean society. And my major job was helping them, mentoring them, listening what their difficulties are, and then like telling it to organizations, government organizations, how we can solve their issues. And I think after like working for over 10 years, this got recognized by Korean government, and finally this year was the year that I received the Korean honors citizenship, and it was one of the proudest moments of my life.
Right. And Laura, what community work have you been involved in here?
I would say there are several pillars, but first my day job, of course, is as a project manager at the Science and Technology Office, so within the Embassy of Switzerland. So there I'm kind of an international bridge builder, helping Switzerland and Korea in education, research and innovation to find collaborations. And specifically I work with startups, so Swiss startups that are interested in validating their solutions in the Korean market and finding partners. That's the day job. Then on the side, my big passion is psychology. So when I first came, in 2015, when I moved to Seoul, I was involved in a lovely meditation community that was really welcoming when I first arrived, where I met a lot of new friends, Korean and foreigners. And after that community kind of disbanded, I started my own positive psychology meetup in 2016. We first started out in coffee shops, just meeting and discussing. And then I stopped during Corona, and then I got involved with Hanokers. So I met one of my former members of this positive psychology community is a founding member of Hanokers, so invited me to join Hanokers. And that's where I then picked up again these positive psychology sessions under this umbrella. So Hanokers, what is it? Hanokers is, well, okay, it's based in a Hanok space, that's why we call it Hanokers, but it's a refugee-led initiative. So the point is to empower refugees who are here in Korea through fostering cross-cultural dialogue between Korean and refugees and help them find agency through several projects. So some projects we have are, just learning Korean, so it's learning things. Other are more psychosocial support. So we have Kukseondo, which is a breathing. Kukseondo is a traditional Korean breathing technique, where refugees can come and get, achieve better mental health. Also, I have my sessions, and the positive psychology sessions. And we have one big networking event called Refugee Insights, which it's once a month, where a specific refugee comes and shares about their journey, where they're from, how they came to Korea, and they engage in a Q&A with a mostly Korean audience about their specific struggles or motivations here in Korea. So just to sum it up, our goal in some ways as Hanokers is to help foster a more inclusive community. So combining, having Korean refugees and foreigners all together and having a discussion about our lives here.
Right, I see. Good to know. Rahil, you were talking about multicultural families and your efforts to enhance their lives here. What are some common challenges faced by these families here in the country, and what do you suggest perhaps to better tackle these challenges that they face?
Yes, in addressing challenges by multicultural families in Korea, it's important to have a comprehensive approach, because they have different kind of difficulties in life. For example, it's really difficult for them to get integrated into Korean society due to language barrier and not knowing the culture properly, not having enough friends, not having enough job opportunities. these kind of issues are making them to really come into Korea, like feel it as their own home. That's why in order to foster their living in Korea, we need to have different kind of approaches. First of all, having a cultural awareness programs, I think, is very important, because learning Korean culture and really understanding it's very crucial. And then workplace diversity programs, I think, is very important, because foreigners coming to Korea, multicultural family individuals especially, when they're living in Korea, even though they want to work in Korean companies, it's really difficult to really feel it like and work in here, because they don't really understand the culture of Korean workplace. So in order to understand it, they need some kind of education because of that. And then community engagement initiatives is very important in order to feel them to get along with locals of Korea and have like friendly relationship with them. By addressing all of these aspects, I can say that in order to have their Korea as their home, they need to integrate in Korean society by doing different kind of efforts.
Right, of course. And as part of that integration, language is very important, as Rahil mentioned. Laura, I understand Hanukkas has a language program for refugees here in the country, right? Could you tell us a bit about that program?
Yes, so we had we helped the refugees prepare for their first topic. Often refugees are not based in the city necessarily, right? So for them, finding actually adequate language support, language classes is really hard, and we have to kind of adapt, being flexible to have them included. So we help them with, kind of private classes, or also providing some technical support that they may need, if they need like an iPad or some computer to access online classes.
Right, of course. Laura, if you could propose perhaps a policy to enhance lives for refugees here in the country, what would you suggest?
I'm kind of divided on that question, because more than proposing a policy, I would say I would propose a new way of creating a policy. I would say it's very important to bring in the refugees in the dialogue for a more inclusive kind of policy making process, so co-creating policy with the refugees. I think it's up to me to propose on behalf of them. But if to really answer this question, I would say personally, as I really care about personal psychology, I think providing psychological support for refugees is very important, because refugees, when they come in Korea, they face a lot of uncertainty about their status, and so their mental health really suffers. And in that case, if they had this basic support, psychological support, they could rebuild their life and maybe better integrate here in Korea. And from personal experience at Hanukkas, I think we try to engage them in cultural and artistic and other activities. But I think if this base support of mental health is not there, it's really hard to get them engaged.
Right, of course. Rahil, speaking from your experience here in the country, what do you suggest to better enhance the lives of both refugees as well as multicultural families here?
I think as a policy, I would suggest to Korean government the title was a comprehensive refugee integration program. The basic of this program might be like helping them firstly learn the language in order to integrate into Korean society, because as the refugee families they come, they have like lots of children. While I was working with Minister of Justice, I faced the situation where they come to listen to my lectures, and I saw that they have lots of children who are like adolescent years, very young students, but they have these difficulties in integrate into Korean society because of the language. So learning language would be very important for them. And then after learning the language, they should understand Korean cultural norms in order to prevent cultural misunderstanding issues. After solving those things, I think it's really important, as Laura also mentioned, helping them to overcome these mental issues, because they have so many stress after what they faced in their country and how they became the refugee, right? In order to ease their situation, I think mental support program is also very important.
Right, of course. Laura, on a more personal level, we're going to be talking about language again, of course. You talked about how you were enrolled in the language program at Yonsei. I was enrolled in that particular program as well to learn the Korean language. I understand it's very challenging, of course. But do you have any tips on mastering, if I may, the Korean language?
Well, mastering is a bit too far-fetched, but let's say, yes, I would say immersion. That's the main word. And then maybe if I had to add a second word, it would be focused immersion. So I assume people come to Korea for several reasons, right? But there may be something that piques their interest about Korea, or as they're here, they start enjoying certain aspects. So I would really suggest that these people get really into, surround themselves with people or books or videos or whatever, and really delve deep into the Korean culture. So through exposure, right, you improve passively, and then actively, I would say really not to be afraid to speak. Even if you suck in the beginning, you're not that good. Korean, I noticed from my experience, Korean are very happy and very welcoming and really warm up when you try to speak their language. And actually the most meaningful connections are made if you engage on a Korean level base. So that's, and in addition to what I said, the focused immersion, I would say focus if you have a specific topic you're interested in my case, again, psychology, I keep mentioning it. Study more in that regard, like maybe subscribe to a magazine or watch some YouTube discussion or on TV related to that specific topic, so that keeps the motivation to learn the language beyond just the superficial day-to-day life.
Right, I see. And Rahil, as Laura said, it's really important to engage with the people. They are warm and welcoming once you approach them, the Koreans here. And that being said, what are your tips, Rahil, on better engaging with the locals?
I think it's really important to be a little bit open-minded. And I have seen many foreigners who make a little mistake by thinking that, well, as I'm in Korea, I should find my own country's people and get along with them. I think that will make their life a little bit more challenging, because in order to get into this society, you have to have Korean friends. You have to get along with them. After that, of course, it's going to help you to improve your Korean language skills. And also learning Korean, not just like by speaking, it's very important to work on yourself as well, because while I was a student in university, it was really hard for me at first to grab this language, because it's totally different, the alphabet is totally different. So in order to get Korean language, to make it mine, I made lots of efforts, like writing, continuously writing, translating my own country's stories into Korean language, and then vice versa. This was the efforts I put into. At the end of, like, after over 10 years has passed, I can confidently say that, well, my Korean is better than the beginning. I think it really needs lots of effort, and I highly recommend it to my fellow foreigner friends to try to improve their language if they want to have a better life in Korea.
Right, by approaching the locals, of course, and trying to use the language more often then. Laura, this past spring, I understand you partook in an art exhibition over in Yongsan. So not only are you contributing in terms of offering a psychological safety network for foreigners here, but you're also taking part to share your talent. Could you tell us a bit more about this particular event?
Yes, so besides psychology, my other big passion is actually art. So I've been drawing since I was a child, but I always felt a bit awkward about calling myself an artist. So actually this relates again to the Hanokers community, because through the extended community at Hanokers, I got to meet James, who is the foreign president at the Yongsan Fine Arts Association. And this association, they offer twice a year the opportunity to exhibit, so to foreign artists to exhibit, to join an exhibition with Korean artists. And that's actually how I got to come out a bit of my closet as an artist, say, okay, maybe I can try, and yeah, get to exhibit my work for the first time. Since then, I exhibited 3 times, so I got more involved in this community. There are so many opportunities actually for foreign nationals to get involved in this case, cultural events that are combined with Korean. It's a way of bringing your personal interests and engaging with local, with Koreans through your personal interests, right? So where you bring more passion into that, not just language exchanges, for example, which are also a good mean. Recently I also got involved with another initiative, which is the Seoul Culture Club at Uljiro. They are more focused on performing artists, so they also put together shows where they invite Koreans and foreigners to contribute in some multicultural setting. So I think Seoul itself is really, as I mentioned actually during the honorary citizenship video, is a treasure trove. I would really say Seoul is a treasure trove. There's so many things to find, you just have to look. So I really recommend people to, well, maybe get in touch with us and other honorary citizens and find out what networks there are here, how they can get more actively participate and kind of find some way of they can express themselves and kind of get expression, exactly. Yes. So through that, so I would say the power of personal networks and the power of really proactively contributing and getting involved in the city. That is really, a good thing that you can do here in Seoul.
I would have to agree with you. And talking about being involved with the city, we're looking at end-of-year celebrations starting this weekend, which is a long weekend to mark Christmas. What are some fun ways, Rahil, in your opinion, of better indulging in festivities here in the capital city?
Well, these year-end celebrations are a great way, fantastic way to immerse yourself into Korean culture. Well, foreigners, newcomers can go to bell ringing ceremonies that's going to be held all over the country. And also, if they want to do something meaningful, they can go and do some kind of volunteering jobs that country is offering. They can do helping others who are not getting enough from this time of the year. And I think after doing those kind of volunteering work, they will be feeling that the end of the year is more meaningful.
Right, of course, because charity starts at home then. All right, Rahil, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today, and congratulations on your win for honorary citizenship.
Thank you for having me.
Right, and Laura, thank you very much for your time as well.
Thank you so much.
Right, well, that ends this week's editions of Issues and Insiders. We are looking ahead to a long weekend as we mark Christmas Day next Monday. So happy celebrations and see you starting next Tuesday.